Here's a straightforward truth that most people don't hear until it's too late. A completely average person with a completely average income can retire a millionaire. No stock picking, no crypto, no high-risk bets, just one account used consistently over time. That account is the Roth IRA. And today I want to explain exactly what it is, how it works, and why starting one, even if you can only put in a small amount, is one of the smartest financial decisions you can make right now. Number 1. What is a Roth IRA? Let's start from the beginning. IRA stands for Individual Retirement Account. It's not an investment itself, it's just the account that holds your investments. Think of it like a container. The container is what gets you the special tax treatment. What you put inside it is up to you. The core idea behind a Roth IRA is simple. You put money in after it's already been taxed, so your regular paycheck money. And from that point forward, the IRS is completely done with it. Everything that grows inside the account, every gain, every dividend, every dollar of compounding over 30 years, is yours tax-free. And when you eventually retire and start pulling money out, you owe nothing. Zero. That's really the whole thing. Pay taxes once, on the front end, and never worry about them again on that money. Number 2. How is it different from a traditional IRA? The traditional IRA is basically the opposite. With a traditional IRA, you contribute money before it gets taxed, so you get a deduction today, which feels good. But when you retire and start withdrawing, that money gets taxed as ordinary income. You've just pushed the tax bill into the future. So it really comes down to one question. Do you want to pay taxes now or later? For most people who are early in their careers, the Roth almost always wins. The reason is pretty intuitive. Right now, you're probably in a lower tax bracket than you'll be in 10 or 20 years once your income has grown. So paying taxes today at a lower rate, on money that's about to compound for decades, is almost always a better deal than paying taxes later at a higher rate on a much larger amount. Here's the gut check I'd use. Do you expect to earn more money as you get older? If yes, go Roth. It's that simple for most people. Number 3. Anyone can open one. This is worth saying clearly because a lot of people assume retirement accounts have to come through an employer. They don't, at least not this one. A 401k is tied to your job. A Roth IRA has nothing to do with your employer. As long as you have earned income, a salary, hourly wages, freelance work, self-employment, you can open one today entirely on your own. It doesn't matter what company you work for or even what industry you're in. The process takes about 15 minutes online. Pick a brokerage. Fidelity, Schwab, and Vanguard are all solid starting points. Fund the account, choose what to invest in, and you're done. It's genuinely that straightforward. One practical thing to look for when you're choosing a platform: make sure they offer fractional shares. If you're starting with smaller amounts, $50 a month, $100, you want to be able to buy a partial share of an ETF rather than having to save up several $100s before you can do anything. Fidelity and Schwab both support this. Now, there are income limits. For 2026, if you're single, you can contribute the full amount as long as your income is under $153,000. It phases out between $153,000 and $168,000, and above that, you can't contribute directly. For married couples filing jointly, that phase-out range starts at $242,000. If you're above the limit, there's a workaround called a backdoor Roth, but that's a whole separate video. For most people just getting started, the income limits aren't going to be an issue. Number 4. How much can you put in? For 2026, the limit is $7,500 per year if you're under 50. That's up from $7,000 last year. The IRS bumped it slightly. If you're 50 or older, you can add an extra $1,100 on top of that as a catch-up contribution, bringing the total to $8,600. $7,500 breaks down to $625 a month. But here's the thing. You don't have to hit that number to make this worth doing. Not even close. Someone who puts in $3,000 a year starting at 22 is going to end up in a dramatically better position than someone who contributes the full $7,500 starting at 32. The math on that is pretty striking when you run it. Time is worth more than the contribution amount in almost every scenario. So the real answer to how much you should put in is whatever you can as soon as possible. One more thing that a lot of people don't know. The contribution deadline isn't December 31st. You actually have until April 15th of the following year to make contributions for a given tax year. So you have until April 15th, 2027 to max out 2026. That's a useful buffer if you're trying to catch up. Number 5. The tax advantage is bigger than it sounds. Most people hear tax-free growth, and it doesn't quite land. Let me try to make it more concrete. In a regular brokerage account, every time you sell a stock for a gain, you owe capital gains tax. Every dividend you receive gets reported and taxed that year. Year after year, these small deductions chip away at your overall returns. You might not feel it in any given year, but over 20 or 30 years, it adds up to a significant amount of money that never got to compound. Inside a Roth IRA, none of that happens. You buy, sell, rebalance, collect dividends, let it all compound, and the IRS isn't part of any of it. Not this year, not in 30 years. Every dollar you don't pay in taxes is a dollar that keeps working for you instead. Over long time horizons, that difference is enormous. It's not just that you're saving on taxes, it's that those tax savings are themselves compounding for decades. Number 6. What should you actually invest in? This is where a lot of people get tripped up. They open the account, put money in, and then just leave it sitting there as cash, and then wonder why nothing is happening. Opening the account and investing the money are two completely separate steps. The Roth IRA is the container. You still have to decide what goes inside it. Cash sitting in a Roth IRA earns you almost nothing. You have to invest it. For most beginners, the simplest starting point is a broad market index fund. VOO tracks the S&P 500, the 500 largest U.S. companies. One purchase and you instantly own a small piece of Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Nvidia, and hundreds more. VTI is similar but slightly broader, covering the total U.S. stock market including smaller companies. Both are low-cost, well-diversified, and have long track records. You don't need to pick individual stocks. You don't need to watch the market daily. Just buy one of these, contribute consistently, and let time do most of the work. If you want something even more hands-off, look into target date funds. You pick the year closest to when you expect to retire, say a 2055 fund if you're in your late 20s, and it automatically adjusts from aggressive to conservative as you get older. You never have to rebalance or think about it. It just runs. Number 7. Withdrawal rules worth knowing. The Roth is more flexible than most retirement accounts, but there are rules worth understanding before you open one. Your contributions, the actual money you put in, can be taken out at any time, for any reason, completely penalty-free and tax-free. That's always been your money, and the IRS doesn't touch it. So, if you put in $20,000 over 4 years and something comes up, you can pull that $20,000 back out without any consequences. The earnings are a different story. The growth on top of your contributions stays locked up until you meet 2 conditions. Your account has been open for at least 5 years, and you're at least 59 and a half. If you withdraw earnings before meeting both of those, you'll owe income tax plus a 10% penalty on whatever you take out. There are some exceptions. Buying a first home, certain medical situations, disability, but the general mindset should be this. The contributions are accessible if you truly need them in an emergency. The growth is untouchable until retirement. That's where the real wealth is building, and the rules are designed to keep it there. So, to wrap it, the Roth IRA isn't exciting. It's not going to make you feel anything in year 1. What it does quietly and consistently over decades is remove taxes from the equation entirely on money that's compounding the whole time. For 2026, that means $7,500 a year, $8,600 if you're 50 or older, going in, growing completely tax-free, and coming out tax-free in retirement. The limits went up slightly from last year, so if you've been contributing the same amount, it's worth seeing if you can bump it up even a little. The people who build real wealth over time aren't usually the ones who made one brilliant move. They're the ones who made a series of quiet, sensible decisions and stayed consistent. Opening a Roth IRA is one of those decisions. Starting it sooner rather than later is another. If you don't have one yet, open one this week. Put in whatever you can. Pick a simple index fund. Then let it run and try not to touch it. The version of you 30 years from now will be very glad you did.